We're here at the World Matchplay, and well, I say we, it's just me on my own here. Harry is at the graduation at Leeds University. Congratulations. Cue picture. We've got 4 great games ahead, and let's see how we go. So we're here back in the studio and going over the first game between Gerwyn Price and Ross Smith, and the first 5 legs seemed to be a bit of a fine proving ground for both players. They were struggling with the scoring and the averages were in the high 80s, early 90s, which is a surprise considering both players are really known for their heavy hitting scoring. But then from that break, things started to escalate in terms of the standard. They were both bit of needle celebrations, but nothing untowards. But it was a very, very entertaining game. And Ross Smith's 180 scoring really started kicking in from the second break. And you can tell that the game really meant a lot to both players. And even in the confines of the game itself, you know, they wanted to get one up on each other. And maybe a little bit of bravado on both players, which, you know, Gerwyn Price is well known for. Ross Smith, you know, I've known him for a long time, played on the BDO circuit with him, and he's always seems to be very calm and very placid off the board. He's always been a very, you know, wonderful guy. But last night I thought he really started upping the ante a little bit on his celebrations, and you can tell that it really meant a lot to him because as he said in his interview, you know, this is a big game for him, and we've got that interview for you right now. Congratulations on a really entertaining game. During that game, there was obviously, in your interview at the moment, you know, you're very calm, you're very relaxed. On the stage, you seem to be a bit of a different animal, very aggressive on the big outshots and stuff. Is it difficult to just keep on the level, or do you need that, as you say earlier in the game, you needed to grab yourself by the collar and pull yourself up? And did you need that level of anger to focus or to concentrate, or is it just you're an in-the-moment player?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of everything, to be fair. You know, you can go up there and, yeah, it's just a mixture. I'm not going to lie. It can be you caught up in the moment. He could large it 1 minute, and then you sort of fire back and let him know you're there. And it's difficult, but yeah, sometimes again I just needed to. It wasn't about him. I felt like I missed a few doubles here and there, and it's almost like I said to you earlier. Like I needed to grab myself by the scruff of the neck and get on with it because I just felt like I was missing something a little bit. So yeah. Something like that, sometimes it can G you up a bit.
Yeah, and obviously it's worked on this occasion, and good luck in the next round.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, as he said, you know, it's a mixture of everything, his emotions when he's playing, and from experience I can vouch for that. You know, you want to try and stay, obviously, on the level, but things happen and sometimes you react to them. And sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. But I think Ross Smith was able to channel them moments of aggression that he needed, and as he said, to pick himself up from, you know, the scruff of the neck and really hone in on what he needed to do, which was get them scores in and get the job done. And Gerwyn Price afterwards, you know, obviously disappointed in the result, but it was a really entertaining game. But Ross Smith coming out on top, and much to the delight of the fans, should we say. But looking at the stats, and you can see there 13 180s by Ross Smith, which is unbelievable. And again, the 140. So his scoring power is incredible. It's been known for a while, but I think this really personifies that case. But then you look at the checkout averages, 30%, roughly 1 in 3, which is fine, but the more you head into these tournaments, I think that's something that he'll want to be working on. Highest checkouts are highest checkouts. It is of that moment, but Gerwyn Price's 114 was an excellent average, an excellent checkout. But then when you look at the averages, there was a 5-point difference, which is 1 dart out of a leg. But that average of Ross Smith's could have been a hell of a lot higher had he taken them doubles. But there's your result, 11-9 to Ross Smith. Moving on to game 2 at the World Matchplay in Blackpool, and it was a battle of two battlers, essentially, with Nathan Aspinall taking on James Wade. And James Wade, coming into this match, he was very confident, as he alluded to in his previous interview at the end of the first round. He'll just do James Wade things. And, people doubt him in the media, and fans may doubt him, but he's got total belief in himself. And against him, the fan favourite, the defending champion, Nathan Aspinall, with arguably one of the best entrances in darts at this moment in time. The song is fantastic. It's been a cult classic for many years. I remember being in Manchester nightclubs back in the day when this was on, and yeah, absolute banger, Nathan Aspinall. Even though you might not like it fully yourself, it's a great song. But it was a battle between these two. James Wade going ahead 4-1 in that first session. And by just doing James Wade things, James Wade will do James Wade things. Was playing really well, and Nathan just could not get going. And then he got going. I think he's one of the best players in the world when he's back against the wall. And that happened to be the case, and he was pumped up for it, as you can see with some of his big checkouts, and it made the game very interesting. Going into 8-8, it was still who could win this. It was a toss of a coin, but as Nathan said later on in the evening, his arm was at a point where it was just too much for him, and James Wade played his game, did his thing, and got the win. It was a great defence of the title, but now Nathan Aspinall can rest and get that treatment he said in his previous interview. It's going to be a few months out for Nathan Aspinall, but here at Darts World, we wish you all the very best in a speedy recovery. As for James Wade, he had quite a bit to say. People doubt him, and he seems to, in the past, not get the rub of the green, and he alluded to that in his interview with me later. This game between yourself and Nathan Aspinall, it was a game between two real scrappers known for their never say die attitudes, and the experience that you've brought into the game, obviously with all the titles that you've won. Do you think that's just now put you instead for, as we said, and you alluded to in your previous interviews, like you said sometimes you don't get the rub of the green. You think now you're getting some of that rub, and you want to obviously continue that rub?
I think you have to earn the rub of the green, and I haven't earned it. As much as I want to harp on about it and play the self-pity, which I'm great at doing. But then again, I guess I have been unlucky. I think I've been quite unlucky in my career throughout, but I've also been really lucky in my career throughout. So,
Some amazing moments.
Yeah. There's a lot of dart players that think they're good that would like to be as unlucky as I've been. I don't think that I'm, by any stretch and means of the imagination, I don't think I'm done yet. In fact, I come here this week and thinking everyone's going to think that I might get a game if I'm lucky, I might do this, I might do that. I've come here expecting what I'm expecting. and all the press and the bookies and all of yourselves will be looking at certain players to do this and do that. If you think I've come here thinking anything other than I think I can win it, then, you know, I might go out next round and lose whatever it's first to. I don't know. I don't even look that 16. Far. Yeah, I might lose 16-0. But don't think I've come here thinking that it's not a viable option or a viable route for me to win a tournament like this. And I still think I can. If I didn't think I could, I'd have a different outlook on it all. I still believe that I will. Yeah, I will do. Not this tournament, perhaps. Not 2-3 tournaments down the road. But if you think that I'm not a danger, then that's a great thing for me. That's a great thing for me, and I hope you celebrate the newer players and the younger players and blow lots of smoke up their backsides.
So James Wade wanting to make his own look and cement his legacy more than anything else. But if we look at the stats there, 3 180s for Nathan Aspinall. James Wade used to be a very prolific 180 scorer, but now his 140s is where his bread and butter is. Multiple times over the course of a longer distance will get to any player. Highest checkouts, 2 ton plus checkouts there between them, 109 and 128. And then when you look at the averages, obviously the pain that Nathan Aspinall was in had affected his play, and not at the 90 mark. But James Wade, classic James Wade, in the early 90s, he's that player that lives in the early to mid to latter point of the 90s. Anywhere in the 90s, that's where James Wade is. That's his level. Now, can he increase it going into the next round? We'll see. But there's your result. 11-8 to James Wade. So the guys at Red Dragon Darts have been extremely busy. They've got their new range of products endorsed by the current world champion Luke Coolhand Humphries. They've got the World Champion Tour Polo. They've also got the new Optimus set. New Coolhand Dartboard Surround. They've also got the new Coolhand Dart Case by Stone 2. And the Coolhand Luke Humphries Flight Collection. And introducing the Airwing Moulded Flight Technology, endorsed by Coolhand Luke Humphries by Red Dragon. Moving on to game 3, and what a game this was between two tremendous players, Stephen Bunting and the world champion. So you had the current Masters champion versus the current world champion. And it was a game that was closer than what some people may have guessed, but for me, game of the night. Fantastic game between the two. Stephen Bunting, the crowd favourite. He had his new darts released yesterday from Target, and there's a review of them on the Darts World page if you have a look very closely. And everyone was going Bunting mental, as the phrase is, but the world champion also full of confidence from his last result, having the highest average of the first round with that 104. And it was going to be a case of who blinked first. There was moments in the game where it swung more rounds, as Harry would say. There was more swings than a playground. But Bunting having some really good checkouts at the right times. But it always just seemed to be that Luke Humphries was just that little bit ahead, as I like to say, that 1 dart extra per leg, or that 1 extra treble. And Luke Humphries, towards the end of the match, started to just go into control of the match. He was controlling the legs. He was controlling that with some excellent scoring. Unfortunately for Stephen Bunting, that was the end of him for this tournament, but he played extremely well in both of his games, and as always providing some great entertainment for the Blackpool crowd. Speaking to Luke Humphries earlier, I asked him if the Premier League and his run of form, playing against these elite players over and over and over again, to coin a phrase, iron forges iron, as that made him a stronger player going into the latter stages of this World Match Play.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you're playing the top players in the world, it obviously elevates you and makes you play better. I think the Premier League was a massive thing for me. It helped me a lot, because you're playing the best players every week, all the time. That was what I was crying out for last year. I'm obviously really pleased I never got selected because of what happened afterwards. It could have ruined me. Who knows? But it's definitely the right decision not to be in the Premier League last year. This year, I played so many great dart players so many times and had so many great experiences over the last 12 months. But you become mentally stronger. So for me, yeah, it's been a good start to the tournament so far, and I've had two tough opponents that played well against me. I know I'm gonna have another tough opponent in the next game, whether it's Dimitri or Johnny. If you look forward, I'm gonna have tough opponents every game I play now, and I'm gonna have to win it in style. So if I do, then I've beaten the best players in the world.
So by all accounts, it was a fantastic performance again by the world champion. 102 average against Stephen Bunting's 94, which is nothing to be sneezed at. It's a great performance there by Stephen Bunting. That 126 checkout as well was at a crucial time in the game. But you look at the 180s thrown, Stephen Bunting hitting more 180s, which is a surprise for some because we all know how prolific Luke Humphries can be. But the 140s is where it's at. 23 140s there by the world champion. And again, the 100s exactly the same. So not a lot between them, as the scoreline suggested. But in the end, Luke Humphries with the 11-7 win. We have got an amazing competition here at the Darts World Matchplay podcast. As you can see, we have got the Luke Humphries Red Dragon bundle. We have got the darts, the Firestone 2 case, the Pro Players shirt, and we've also got the Airwing flights and the stems. To be within a chance of winning these amazing prizes, you need to follow us on our socials. We are on Twitter at darts_world, and there you will put in the answer of how many 180s will there be in this year's World Match Play. As we said, to be within a chance, you have to find us on our Twitter and make sure you follow, like and share the post to be within a chance of winning these amazing prizes from Red Dragon. So we move on to our final game of the evening, which was Dimitri van den Berg, the human highlight reel, Mr. Nine Darter versus Johnny Clayton. And by all intents and purposes, it was a great game to finish the night off with. The crowd were ready for this one. The crowd were very, very buoyant at this moment in time. And the players were ready for a great game of darts. And Dimitri doing Dimitri things. I think at the moment he's the most consistent player out of the lot. I think his throw is on point. There was issues of slowing down tactics and things up, but the player is in control of what he does at that time, and I think now he's in more control than ever. But Johnny, always been a battler, always been a tremendous player, but I think on this occasion the game was just a little bit too much for him, or should I say Dimitri was a little bit too much for him. As we said, that rock solid throw and 180s at the crucial times and big checkouts at the right times as well. Later on, I asked him, he's created a lot of magic moments, not just for himself, but for the fans. But what would a second World Match Play title mean to him? Adding on to that, Dimitri, you've seemed to have produced your best moments and you've created a lot of great moments here at the World Match Play. What would a second title mean to you?
Right. Now I'm going to think about, there have been Belgian players in the past who have shown that they can play darts. They have shown that they can get into major finals. 2020, I think, was the greatest for the Belgian darts. Me making final of match play, but not even just making it, also winning it, was the best Belgium ever experienced. And then this year, I kind of showed that I'm not a one tournament miracle. I can actually do twice a major win. And besides that, I've had semifinals, I've had quarterfinals in many, many, many years. So I'm always showing that I can do it at major tournaments. But What you're asking me right now is what literally gone through my mind yesterday. What if I can be a winner of a major, not once, but twice?
And you would
This
be
would be
joining,
crazy.
and you would be joining a very exclusive group of only 4 people that would have their name twice on this trophy.
The fact that I've already got a 9 data and winning this tournament already puts me into that exclusive list.
Yeah.
What can I say? I'm doing my very best from the start to the end. Whenever I've got to go on that stage, I've got family, friends, and fans. I'm doing everything I can to make all of these people so happy and so proud, and that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here right in front of you now, and I am allowed to talk to you. So, like Ronnie Harvick always is saying, I am living the dream.
So, as you can see, Dimitri is very ready for the latter stages of the World Match Play going into the quarterfinals. But if we have a look at the stats here, you can see 11 180s shared between them, and the average is roughly the same. So when you look at it, you know, there wasn't a lot in it, but it was all about the timing of shots that Dimitri was producing and hitting the crucial doubles at them right times. 112 check out there for Johnny Clayton, but unfortunately for him this time, this is where the road ends. An 11-5 win for Dimitri van den Berg. So we move on to our Oracle moment of the day. This is where we select a moment or a performance that was far and beyond everything else. And for me, there's only one answer: the performance of Ross Smith. Them 13 180s and a display of absolute immense power scoring. You go into the 140s and the 100s, and that average could have been in the 100 pluses very easily. A blank the misses of the doubles. But yeah, phenomenal scoring power by Ross Smith, who even surprised himself at times with how many 180s he was hitting at the consistency. And a lot of these 180s were following up from a Gerwin Price 180. So, as we say, take that. But again, great performance by Ross Smith. And going into the quarterfinals, I would say he would be the favourite in that contest. And once them doubles start rocking, which is again one of his stronger assets, is his checkouts, it's going to be a very, very hard game for anybody who plays against him. So there we have it, our Oracle moment of the day, Ross Smith's power scoring. Oracle Head Neck Cancer UK is one of the UK's newest charities that help improve head and neck cancer patients' quality of life and outcomes in the UK. They will achieve their mission through their RACE programme to overcome head and neck cancer crisis. Research projects, awareness campaigns, collaboration programmes and experience of patients of all backgrounds placed at the heart of everything. And this year alone, they are awarding 8 scholarships to attend the ESTRO Head and Neck Oncology Conference, launching community and PPI projects to promote early diagnosis, organising the 2024 Oracle Head and Neck Cancer UK Oncology Meeting in York, and that's in September, sponsoring the National Head and Neck Cancer Audit Feasibility Study, alongside with the Barno and other members of the Head and Neck Cancer UK Coalition, and awarding new medical research grants, social detriments of health and lab-based treatment advances. Help us by helping support Oracle by donating on their website, or you can go onto their Instagram page, their Twitter page, Facebook and LinkedIn. For more information, send an email to info@oraclecancertrust.org. Thank you. So there we have it for day 4 here at the World Matchplay, the first 4 matches of round 2. We had great wins for Ross Smith, we had a great win for James Wade and also Luke Humphries, and in the final game Dimitri Vandenberg. Got to say, it was 4 fantastic matches, all for different reasons. There was tension, there was great runs, there was great outshots, and there was a lot of perfect timing for certain shots. Tomorrow we've got 4 more games for you. My name's AJ Ermston Toft. It's lights out at the Winter Gardens. See you in the next round.